All right, good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to NFT Live Web3 Network. Another week in Web3 that we're going to try to survive together. I appreciate y'all being here today. This is my new or my new dude, as we should say.
What's up, dude?
Little 1 foot vinyl from the Doodle. Shout out Poopy. Shout out the team over there, creating some good shit. I'm not buying the Crocs though. I'm not buying the Crocs.
I'm not gonna lie.
Why?
We'll get into that, but Q,
Those are fly.
Can you pull that back up here and show it to us clearly again, real quick? I'm not gonna lie. I find this character, his whole essence, his pose, I find it creepy. Like the way he's staring at you angrily with those dead eyes, like
This is a standard Doodle PFP. What do you mean?
I'm just saying, if I was like walking through a room and I didn't know it was there and I saw that thing staring at me from a corner, I'd be like, what the fuck?
I don't know about creepy. He definitely looks condescending to me, you know, like he's looking at me being like, your size is not size, bro.
But like creepily condescending, right? Yeah. Anyway, the Crocs, we'll talk about that. Good. I'm just happy to be back with y'all. I missed out on a lot of last week. I was sick. I'm feeling much better. So thank you. Also, Biggie, I think I just successfully got one of these foundation NFTs. So thank you. Happy to be back with you and Q and the squad, our vibe, our tribe.
Shout out to Gifted almost died.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I mean, it was a close call, man. It was a close call, but we gotta just
rub that off. All right, so we do have the try box today. Biggie Poppins, Gifted. I am Nifty Q. If you see a little bit of a change in the name, as I started to get into trying to find people that I wanted to reply to. I'm not a reply guy. I recognize the importance of connecting with individuals on X and making sure that you're doing all the right things there. But I try to find the people that I want to connect with. Too many people were just all over the place with my name. I guess it was just, if you didn't know Nifty Q, I got people calling me YQ. I got people calling me NFT. Like it was just very weird. I've dealt with it before, but once I started to reply, I was like, people clearly don't understand, don't get it. So I made a little bit of a change. I lost the blue check mark. It is what it is. We are happy you guys are in with us today on this Monday, August 28th. Appreciate you guys all the time showing up early. You know the deal. We're going to wait for folks to get in here before we start the meat of the episode. If you're catching us after, you can go to those timestamps there in the description in the comments section if you want to catch a certain topic. But again, live viewership from X, from YouTube, from Twitch. We see y'all, our vibe, our tribe. Please leave a like on the video. Also, we are not financial advice. A very important disclaimer today, because we are not financial advisors. Do not take anything of what we say and put it to use in any sort of investment type material. But let's go around the circle real quick. I know Gifted, you did make a little bit of an intro, but Biggie, how was your weekend, man? And then we will get into the news.
It was fantastic. Thanks for asking. Just hanging out with the family. Got to go down to Mexico for a couple of days, come back over, have some beers, have some good barbecue. And happy to have our co-host back as well, man. Feeling good, looking good. I'm ready to get cracking. There's a lot to talk about, man.
Gifted, what'd you do this weekend, man? Did you just stay in your bed the whole weekend?
Well, I started to turn around, luckily, on like Saturday. I think I started to get up and get outside a little bit. But no, I think I had COVID. For real, which is never fun. It took me out for a solid like 4 days. And last week, not so great, but luckily over the weekend started to feel better. Made it outside a bit. Got back to the gym yesterday. Got to get back into it, man. So we out here, bro, feeling better. Appreciate all of y'all for the kind words.
All right. Prodigy saying Q got paid to change his name because a whole whale wanted it. Tell us what the bag was, homies. Trust me, the first time I get a bag in this bear, I will tell you, because it's hard out here. DP is here. Instead of a casket, you get a survival story. Congrats, Gifted. CPSP, appreciate you. Benja, OVOT fam. Good to see everybody here early. Easy and crypto as well. We do have some breaking news to get to.
Breaking news. I'm also changing my name. It's now GIF, not dead.
All right, we're going to get in just a moment here to the breaking news, but we do have Foundation. You guys just mentioned that here, so I'll put it up on the screen. I'll link it out here for y'all. But Biggie, what's going on?
I have no clue, to be honest. Not financial advice. I think you just pay gas. It's free. I caught on to this last week. I think like it was Friday. They posted it. I guess they have some kind of summer release going on, and they released like these 200 passes, and apparently they're doing 300 more. This is the last chance, and hey, it's free, pay gas. So Foundation's a pretty cool platform. I think I've had good experience with them, so happy to check it out. And this just got announced like 19 minutes ago or so.
Oh, only 17 minted here, 300, and they're free.
Yeah,
I got one.
I'm very curious to see. Hell yeah.
What platform is this on? Foundation?
Yeah.
What protocol?
Ethereum.
Okay.
Yeah, remember Foundation? The original Friend Tech invite was a Foundation invite. You remember everybody trying to get their hands on these Foundation. Sweet Foundation invite.
All right, we are just getting started here. A lot of people are hitting that tweet today on the NFT live profile, so we appreciate that. All right, I'm going to give you a quick rundown, and then we will get to the breaking story that went live about an hour ago. We are going to touch on a little bit of Friend Tech. Gifted just said the new Friend Tech, I guess the old Friend Tech is Foundation, but Friend Tech users fell off a cliff. We will get into that. Mutant Saturday happened. There was multiple events. Like there were side events, there were official events, all of which seemed to go pretty well. That's good to see. Oni Force merch. We love the Onis here on the network. We did get some merchandise as well as some collectible updates that are potentially going to go live here in just a moment. Then we have a bunch of different things when it comes to keeping track of the market, looking at analytics. I got Winds of YAWANAWA that went live there from Rafiq, and it's doing extremely well. I think it hit like a 9 ETH floor. So the art sector consistently doing well here in the bear market, man. It's good to see. And yeah, I think that's going to be the majority of the stories for the day. So anything before we get started?
Well, Q, first of all, go ahead, Biggie.
Oh, no. I dropped a couple of extra links down there on the box for you. But what were you going to say, Gif?
Well, first of all, I didn't see the Oni Force merch, so I'd love to see that. But also, if you're new here, which I would be surprised and shocked. First of all, welcome if you are new here. If you're new here, you may not know we're actually trailer maxis. What does that mean? What does it mean to be a trailer maxi, you ask? Well, it just means that any trailer, no matter how short, long, or cringeworthy, is something that we just love to enjoy on this show. So good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter. We will take all of your trailers, and we have a new trailer from Pudgy Penguins on their merch.
You read my fucking mind. Wow.
Okay.
I was literally just pulling that up.
We have to share this piece of absolute gold.
Nobody talk while this is live. This is gold. That was not the breaking news that I had. This broke last week. Igloo, the new brand from Pudgy Penguins, debuting a merchandise collection. Igloo.shop. I got several takes here, but I want to hear from my co-hosts here. Are we buying Igloo merch from the Pudgy Penguins?
We got merch.
Wow.
That black hoodie is fucking fire, bro. Look, this reminds me. This just makes me think of like if Old Navy was in the trap, Like, what if Old Navy was from the trap? That's what this makes me think of. And look, at least again, they have a strategy. They're launching not just like, hey, here's a black hoodie or some limited merch. They're like, no, we have a whole sub brand, a whole clothing line brand that we are going to be launching and going to market with. And so to your point, Q, that you made on GM Web3, this seems to be much more strategic than just a normal sort of merch drop from an NFT project. They've got a big vision here. And there was an interesting question, I think it was Jess asking, do you think Pudgy is just expanding too fast? No, I don't think so at all, because what they're doing is not dilutive to their collectors at all. And it's all actually creating more sustainable Web 2 revenue. They seem to be doing mostly just very limited edition small drops and selling stuff out and making money, or at least breaking even on all of it. So I don't feel like they're expanding too quickly. I think that they just consistently are coming out with new positive updates and have a very strategic plan for where they're going. That's what I see.
All right, Biggie, I want your take here. Also, the hat, which I was interested in. We got a black Pudgy Penguins hat. I like how bold it is. $60 for a fucking hat. I do see the $20 poster that I would definitely get as well, though. So I'm looking at the hat here. I'm looking at the poster. Hats, because we're here live. Like, I like to rock a lot of NFT IP here while we're live. I don't have enough, clearly. Biggie, I want your take here. Are you rocking Pudgy Penguins merch? And I also dropped that poll in the chat for y'all.
No. I need a Pudgy Penguin first. Then I will rock the merch. I will not rock the merch if I don't own.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I have rocked. I'm pretty sure I have. Take that back. But yeah, I think my priority right now would be getting a Pudgy Penguin. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate the merch. I don't absolutely love it either. Like there's a couple of things there that, yeah, maybe I would get, like you said, at a different price point. But the only Web3 merch that I'm really fucking with, and I'm sorry, but shameless plug here, is something like this. 9DCC Jeff Staple, product with a POAP collector chip right here to grow my audience, something that's got functionality that gives me a certain type of access or permission. That's really the only type of merch that I'm going, out of my way to purchase and have shipped and all this other stuff. Other than that, I'll wait for the next conference. Not hating on you, Penguins. I want to get a penguin first. That's what I need. Then we can talk merch.
I'm down on the penguin buy here. Also, you mentioned having a chip there in the hat that has some type of NFT component, I'm guessing. I went into the detail here, and there is no mention, which I think, again, is the strategy for them, right? They're trying to just be a little bit more Web 2 friendly, be a little bit more IRL friendly. But yeah, that's what we see here on the details.
And I think they, in previous merch editions, they have had stuff like that, right? Because they came out with that jacket, and I think that jacket is editioned and tied with a chip. I totally get it. Like you said, this is more about growing a brand, right? But yeah, now if you would have if I would have seen some keep cool in the summer boxer trunks and stuff, I'd be all in.
Okay, I feel like we're way off track here with how I wanted to start the episode, but the strategy
the strategy of Igloo, I think, is really cool and on point. The designs leave much to be desired. They're very basic and mass market and just kind of boring. It's like American Eagle meets Gap meets Old Navy. Anyway.
All right, I do want to give some shout outs. I started the episode with the Doodles love. I do have that 1 foot vinyl sitting right there. We do have another merch piece from Doodles here, but this is from the camp store. So I just wanted to give another highlight. I mean, this is really cool to again see from NFT.
Come on.
How much are they paying that kid though? Honestly.
Not enough.
Nobody's that excited about anything.
We are on
Doodles Flow NFTs. That's how they're paying
Look,
you.
Pudgy's just had the Igloo brand. We did see a lot of votes come through, and I'm guessing it's going to be no. Yeah, majority no. But I'm guessing that y'all are going to be rocking the Doodles Crocs. So I will throw up that poll as well. I'll ask this to my co-host as well. More moving into the merch, is Doodles now going to be part of the trap? Is this like Mickey Mouse, but in the trap?
Well, let's see the trailer. Let's see the music that they put the trailer to. That's all I'm saying.
The trailer.
Well, then I can't get behind this movement.
I'll tell you this. I would get those Crocs for my daughter. My daughter would totally rock those Crocs. And I know she'd love them. No, I mean, I look at there is a difference, right? In the design and in the partnership with Crocs and all that. I mean, it's a little bit more higher end. It's already more of a brand. Let's just say they're further along in the journey.
I feel there's this very strange conflict that we have looking at this, or I have personally looking at this stuff, where we know that this comes from Web3 degens, and yet both Pudgy Penguins and Doodles are very clearly targeting children now. You know what I mean? It's like there's just this strange sort of disconnect from like where we come from and where the brands originated to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you go from like the black hoodies like us to that Croc picture is just a strange
Yeah, Marty brought this up. Marty was Marty was taking like the kind of, I wouldn't call it a conspiracy, but like the
Epstein approach.
Yeah, he was basically saying like,
point of view.
Why are these like projects that essentially have a demographic of like 25 to 45-year-old men?
Come on.
Why are they selling this stuff and it's mostly kids gear? So I think the point is well taken. I don't think it's for like any nefarious reason, but it's funny to see that.
No, it's a very obvious reason for all marketing purposes. I mean, Marlboro targeted children too, right? Alcohol companies target children too. They may not do it so blatantly. Right? There might be limits, but they of course they did. It's a holy grail. That's how you grow a brand over a lifetime. You have years, decades ahead of hopefully faithful companionship if you get to like hook them young. So of course, that's what they're going after.
Hooking them young.
Yeah.
Future-proofing.
Believe me, in the boardroom was behind the talk and all that shit. That's what they're fucking talking about. Marketing teams and all of these guys. It's like, it's maximum extractable value. They just call it lifetime customer value, but it's the same thing. So
I think that's a fair take. I also think that it's like the inherent nature of many of these PFPs is that they are cartoons. And where do you go with a cartoon IP? It's like a lot of them need like their real target audience for that IP is probably not going to be a 45-year-old man. It's probably going to be a younger kid when you actually express that brand and try and build it out and into cartoons and shit. It's like, yeah, maybe there's some 35-year-olds that are really down with that, but actually most of this IP, like the people that got into it are just there because they're gambling on the IP. They don't care where the IP goes. So like, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it either. I'm starting to feel that strange disconnect, from knowing where it came from to the actual expression of it. It's just an interesting trajectory and a conversation. And, how many of these projects will be able to actually, come out of Web3 degen culture into some kind of mainstream family-friendly brand. I do think that Doodles and Pudgy Penguins are the two doing it the best right now.
There's a weird dynamic here that makes me think like founders as well. Maybe it's a secondary effect. Maybe they're not like actually thinking about this, but the Web3 degens can buy stuff for their kids and not get flamed by their wife or girlfriend or significant other. But if they're buying it for their kids, they're not going to, they're not going to get flamed for it. But if they buy for themselves, I think you start to get like, hey, do we need another black hoodie? Do we need another collectible? Maybe we get a little bit more buying power there.
But baby, it's the future Disney. It's going to be it's going to pay for college.
Okay,
yeah.
we had a pretty quick start to today's episode. Thank you all for joining in early. We do have a link for the episode. If you guys could give it some love, I'll put it here in chat for y'all. I want to get as many folks in here as possible. The breaking news for today is kind of shitty. You saw it on the thumbnail. I do want to get to that in just a very quick moment, but we did have some positive news from Basedheads. Biggie's looking for us to share that video, and we are trailer maxis, of course, so we're going to share that. Biggie, before we play it, did you want to hit on this, or do you want to watch the video first?
Let's watch, and then we can talk about it.
Oh, man, those are my favorite words on this show.
Money when I'm bored. Watch the money hit the floor. Make it rain, make it pour.
I'm very happy that this exists.
Make it rain, make it pour. In my house, don't need no floor. It's just me and the fam. It's just me and the fam. It's just me and the fam.
All right, I do have to break this up. So what are we seeing here, Biggie? What's going on?
So this is like uncannily faithful render, virtual render of Marquis Brownlee's HD's like super production studio that a lot of people, have gotten to know partially, really want to go visit and check out, with some of the latest tech and cameras and everything. And so apparently it's a request that MKBHD has received a lot, and BasedAF, Supermassive, they basically constructed this whole thing using UEFN for Fortnite, and basically reached out to him, and now it's like a playable Fortnite game, battle game, that you can explore, where you can also explore his studio. It's supposed to be super fun. I want to check it out.
So the dynamic here for Basedheads is that they were able to acquire that code and just share it out, or what's the dynamic?
Well, no, dude, it's a crazy story. I encourage our audience to go and check it out, how they did it. You can find it in the BasedAF YouTube channel. Short, it's like 10 minutes, but he shows you everything that they went through to reach this point, because originally they created it and then eventually canned this project because there was no real purpose to it. And it was only until recently when Fortnite came out with UEFN, which basically lets a bunch of creators come in and upload their own assets and create these virtual worlds where you can play Fortnite in, that they basically ported it over and created this extra functionality for it and reached out to MKBHD and showed it to him. You need to watch it. It's crazy. He's like gasping for air. Like, he's like, this is way too familiar, like it's too similar to the actual thing. And it's the same approach also, right, that where like I think MKBHD has been hesitant to embrace the metaverse, and this really like showed him this other use case that's very novel, right? Like nobody's ever done this. And the way Supermassive phrases it there is basically saying that, you remember MTV Cribs, and so this is like a bit of a hybrid of that, where this is something that a lot of people a lot of MKBHD's followers wanted to see, but obviously you as a creator don't have the opportunity. People are very far away. Also, you like your privacy. And basically Supermassive came in and said, here's a virtual world that is like uncannily similar. The whole story of how he got that is insane. And then he's like, and you can play Fortnite on it. So it's not just, a thing that you visit once and then forget about. Like you can actually go there and have a good time. So I'm excited about it. I ordered myself control. I must check this out. But it's really cool. It makes me very bullish as on the team, and it's the reason why I initially supported it. Because these guys are super creative and they get shit done. And this is totally different, out of the box thinking. It's the stuff that you want to see in Web3. It's really cool. I encourage you to check it out.
Love that take. We also do appreciate the Basedheads as well, and the guys building over there. We appreciate them so much that we participated in a marathon back in the day near the Mint. That was awesome to see Biggie on a
treadmill
race. Have you been on that treadmill since, Biggie? Are you getting after it?
No, man. I like to go hiking. So my thing is to go hiking with my dog. But yeah, that was a fun time, man.
All right. Okay, folks, we are getting into the major breaking news. of the day. I appreciate you again being here for NFT Live. We're covering the NFT and Web3 industry every single day, 1 p.m. Eastern, right after we get off those GM Web3 spaces there on X. So definitely, as you see my co-host talking about, leave a like here on the video. All right, breaking news, and this is via Lucky Trader. So Tyler did it over there. I always keep up with his profile. He does a great job of keeping everybody up on the space. He tweeted this out an hour ago. I want to make sure I have this correct for y'all before I pull it up. He says, new SEC charges Impact Theory with conducting unregistered offerings of crypto asset securities via NFTs. The company raised approximately $30 million. Impact Theory's marquee collection, the Founder's Key, has a floor of 0.04 ETH. So this one hit me like a ton of bricks, to be honest, because Tom BILYEU has been on the network. We were there interviewing him as he was talking about the Founder's Key, and we, had all the necessary disclaimers on all those videos and all that. But to be, under the target and not just have them kind of, like the mark on you, but actually have something come from the SEC saying we are going to be, and let me make sure, charging Impact Theory with unregistered securities offerings. That was wild. So, I mean, there's an emotional aspect to this for me, obviously, like having known Tom, but there's a ton of different discussion. I think he was in this, we call it the Goldilocks zone of like being known enough to be under the target of the SEC, but also not big enough like a Bored Ape Yacht Club where he had all of these different things in place. Like, Yuga has those lawyers on deck for them. They're going to be able to have them on retainer and all these things. And I'm sure Tom has his own legal team, but this feels like a Goldilocks zone of, just big enough, but not quite big enough to defend yourself before you get charged by the SEC. A lot of, conflicting thoughts on this one, man. Tom was essentially from the community. Like, I'm not going to name names because I don't feel like I want to target different creators and have them, alongside this. But Tom felt like he had the, right feelings about Web3. He was going to create value. And, again, even saying that out loud kind of sounds weird now that he's being charged. But Tom felt like a good one and didn't feel like some serial rugger coming into the space. And for him to be attacked like this, it's crazy to see, man. So we're going to dive into the details here on this Founder's Key under, SEC charging. But what's up, folks?
Yeah. I mean, it was going to happen to a project sooner or later. I too am a little bit surprised or wasn't expecting it, right? But I'm curious to see exactly why they chose him, aside from like the comment you made, Q, about it being, big enough to, garner that notoriety and have people looking, but not so much that you can defend yourself the way a Yuga would, right? But, they obviously have to have more, I think, meat on the bone to go after him. I very much recall his project back in the day launching and making waves. But do you recall like him mentioning anything regarding like financial gain? I do not. So I want to see what the hell
long ago. This project launched in October, I believe, 2021. So keep that in mind. But go ahead, Gif.
There's a lot to unpack with this, and it's difficult for me to have an honest convo about this without feeling like I'm kicking him when he's down, because I don't have that many positive things to say about this project or about the things that he actually did. Unfortunately, to me, one of the like most blatant mess ups or fuck ups is that he tied this Web3 enterprise to Impact Theory, which was a Web2 business. And, like we were just showing it, I can show it again here real quick. Like, this is clearly branded Impact Theory all over it. Like, the NFTs themselves have Impact Theory all over them. And he used that Web2 brand to raise over $30 million, apparently. That's a lot of money.
I don't remember him taking down that much. That was another aspect of this, like 30
No.
mil.
That's a lot of money.
He didn't mint out all of it though, right?
That's what I mean.
Well, there's almost 14,000 pieces. I'm sure that, you know, again, if he was doing this October of 2021, ETH was worth something back then. And, you know, there's over 3,200 on the secondary. So look, over 30 mil. He took down a lot of money for this. He also launched that like Christmas NFT project, probably took down more money with that. And like, if again, like I'm not trying to kick the guy when he's down. This is obviously an unfortunate and awful situation to be in. But like I'm not sure. Like I'm trying to not like come off as super harsh. I feel like, if I'm being honest though, like Tom BILYEU and his whole enterprise and entry into the space has been kind of a big disappointment for me, because to your point, Q, we watched it, supported it, talked about it. We're hopeful early on that, you know, hey, this guy that has a really successful track record in building businesses in Web 2, et cetera, seems to be coming in with a lot of positive intent and good ideas, seems to really want to build in the space. But I've seen him over the last, let's say, 6 months, distancing himself from Web3 and all of that positive energy and ideas. And now we know why. We know that basically he's probably been learning about the fact that he's a target in the background. He maybe even knew early on that he fucked up.
I think so.
And so he's basically just like all of that positive energy that he came in and took down all this money with and convinced everybody that, hey, I'm going to be here because, again, I believe in Web3 and the future of the tech. He fucking rode that wave in on a fucking high. And then what did he do with it? He basically like didn't do much besides take the money and then slow rug on over $30 million worth of promises, and has then just started distancing himself from the whole space, just being like, I don't really know about it.
So if he was getting calls really from the SEC saying this is going to happen, or we're inquiring into,
I'm sure he knew,
then it makes sense for him to be doing it. I like this comment from Simon, who's commenting under the original kind of post by Tyler. Shout out to Tyler, who's covering this like huge, because we got results from this apparently that are happening now, like actual impacts that I highlighted there on the screen. I like Simon's take because I like Tom BILYEU. Like, I met the guy in person. We met him in NFT NYC. I heard about his plans. Like, a lot of NFT projects haven't delivered. So it must be specifically his wording on what he said during the sale. And this is going to be a precedent. So
it will. And look, I agree with a lot of that. The difference between, like, let's say what we did with Nifty Castle and DBs, which, by the way, we delivered more than most projects with like no budget and not raising that much. We've been out there for years hosting events, doing everything that we can for free just to like pay it forward. Like, this guy had so much resources and raised $30 million on top of it, had all of this production support, had a whole fucking studio. You know what I mean? It's like you expect somebody like this to come in that has all of these resources and support to do some cool shit with it. Like, and Easy's over here saying this. He's saying definitely a big disappointment. Thought he would leverage his studio to make cool shit. Yeah, that's what he sold because it's impact theory. That's his whole fucking studio. Like, we don't have that. Most people don't have that. That's the allure.
So
it's like
there's a couple of different combos happening. We're gonna stay here for like another 10 minutes. What has happened with Founders Key? Because I it's 2 years ago. Like, I'm into other projects now. I've since not, been involved with Founders Key. I don't want to sit up here and say, oh, Founders Key is doing nothing, when maybe there is something that more active community members can point us to. Also, and Biggie, hop in when you would like, but I'm going to go through these impacts. This is wild. This is the first time I've ever seen this, destroying the Founders Keys NFTs and eliminating royalties. First of all, the SEC talking about and making someone destroy NFTs is interesting. You can't do that. First of all, like, you can obviously change the metadata if it's not frozen and all these other things, but you can't physically destroy something that someone has in their wallet. who's going to pay 6.1 million in penalties, must establish a fair fund to return money to investors, destroy all founder key NFTs and eliminate royalties, publish notices on websites and social media regarding the order. This is wild. This is the most in-depth NFT security action that I have seen. We know that
reaction, right?
We know that we've seen, and I'm sure the SEC was working with him on this, though, right? Like they were probably guiding him on, like, this is what you need to do. We saw them come under we saw Bored Ape come under the attack of the SEC, but it was essentially like, hey, we're checking you guys out. You know, you better be on your best behavior is essentially what that looked like. This is a actual charge, and you're seeing repercussions immediately.
Okay. You want to really dig into why this is fucking like super awful? Like what you said, Q, about this setting precedents, dude. This, like, Tom BILYEU handling his shit the way that he did, and then bending over for the SEC and just saying, like, yes, you can basically do whatever the heck you want to me, and setting this as a precedent might literally be like the worst fucking situation for NFTs and many founders out there. Because if BILYEU basically cooperates with them to the extent where he just bends over and says all of this makes sense and doesn't put up a legal argument against any of this shit like Yuga is doing, because you had another interesting point. Yeah, because if he's not in a position where he feels like he can fight these fights, and he's just gonna bend over and say, like, take it all, like, I don't care, none of this fucking matters to me, like, I didn't mean any of it, which again, that's what I've seen him doing, just distancing himself from this whole fucking situation, then the SEC uses that as precedent to now go after fucking XYZ hundreds of other projects potentially. So, like, Tom BILYEU now becomes the Trojan horse for the SEC.
Okay. And this leans me more towards Tom actually having good intentions for his project. I completely forgot about this. This was in, I believe, 21 or 22. He did a buyback for original primary sale price for anybody that wanted to get out of the project. This is from Golan talking about Tyler. Buyback was at the end of 21, pegged to the primary sale price to anyone who minted or bought secondary that was not happy with the project.
I recall, though, at that point in time, Q, and it was crazy because I recall many people also selling their keys before this buyback, and I feel like there might have been already like a lot of pent up anger within the community. Honestly, I think this is just a case. I mean, I'm not trying to minimize it by saying just, but it's a case of somebody coming into the space and maybe haven't had structured his situation correctly, like Gif is saying, tying it directly to his other company, Impact Theory, and maybe not consulting enough, and in the end also maybe not being prepared for the onslaught that is a 24/7 IRL community of holders that are ravenous for profit. Because back in those days, you were looking left and right and seeing people just moon immediately. And so, and again, not trying to like FUD or do, I do recall that sentiment not being the best. And can you imagine, not only offering that, but that a good amount of your community had already sold, probably at a loss before you did the buybacks.
The problem is his share. Okay, so the problem is the people that were part of his community were simps, like, that aren't Web3 native, and they were really hurt by him selling these NFTs and didn't understand the space, don't understand the risk that's involved with doing this. And those were the people in his community. He probably brought a ton of people into Web3, and they didn't understand what this was. And so once they were down X amount, they started to, I mean, he probably had a higher ratio of those people, is what I'm saying, than what you see in other projects.
And the expectations, were high, like, I think I recall, like, didn't he do like some like Christmas Carol drop or claim or something? And you could even tell just from that, because a lot of people didn't even bother claiming that. Yeah, the Merry Mods. And like, I remember looking and like nobody bothered even claiming that shit. Like, that already tells you how off course you are with your community and their expectations. So I think, you know, between all of that and maybe him not again positioning himself and structuring this project, like isolating it from his everything else, could have put him in a vulnerable position. I don't know about it being like setting precedent gift, because I think like there, at least there are, I do see a lot of other teams and a lot of creators be very thoughtful about this approach and what they say and what they promise. And also because we've had more education since 2021 until now, right? On like what you should not be doing or saying, and what, you know, a community of holders is actually like. And so it's towards some people, I really think he was just not, he wasn't ready.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're obviously speculating a little bit here, but when you were showing that list of basically like what's the settlement, what's the agreement look like, it specifically uses investor language in there. And all of this stuff really fucking matters. Like the SEC is a bunch of lawyers. That's what the SEC is. They're fucking lawyers, and lawyers love nothing better than precedents because it speeds up their entire process. So what they do is they very carefully use language and set precedents, and then they use that to steamroll a bunch of other fucking people. So all I'm saying is that if I was gonna like look at this and try and understand the impact of this impact theory debacle, this could potentially be really, really awful for NFT founders in general, if any, like, because they can now potentially just use this situation to go after a whole bunch of them really quickly and just say, look, we now have the precedent to tell you to burn all your NFTs, to tell you to pay us damages, to tell you to do XYZ because so-and-so did that shit.
Well, and if we look at
here we
Quantum
go.
is mentioning right now
Tom
from the Discord, they settled. So, you know,
yeah, they settled in the impact, pun intended, was everything we just mentioned, right? That's
the settlement. The settlement was bending over for the SEC and not fighting.
That's what I mean. Gives you, I think, like you need to have an actual court ruling for it to be something that's referenceable. For I wish we had Squashman here to clear some of this stuff up, but you know, I'm just saying.
But precedent. So maybe you're right within some kind of legal terminology of how you use the word precedent, but the word precedent itself can be applied to anything that like this is now the standard for how this operates. And until somebody stands up to that in a court of law, Biggie, to your point, and sets another precedent, this is going to be the precedent by which the SEC operates, handling NFT founders. Yuga, this is why we need Yuga to be out there fighting for us, because they're one of the few teams that have the resources to go up against the SEC with a bunch of fucking lawyers and try and set precedents that are positive and in favor of the Web3 values that we hold dear. But what you see in that settlement, again, this is why I'm kind of freaking out about this a little bit. And like Biggie, you seem like, oh, no big deal. And maybe it's not. But when you read that off, like, I don't know if you want to pull it up again, that settlement is straight up bending over and saying, like Tom BILYEU saying, I don't give a shit about Web3 or NFTs or any of this shit. Like
that's tough. That's a little much. That's a little. I don't give a shit about Web3. He's being sued by the SEC.
He doesn't, and he doesn't have the resources to go fight the fight. So he's putting up his hands. So again, like, okay, let's not be super hard on him if that's the case. But like, whether or not he has the resources, he's not willing to try and raise those resources and go fight this out with them and set better precedents.
Yeah. But the bottom line,
I want to make sure that we understand that this isn't Tom BILYEU saying screw off Web3 or screw you guys. Listen, like that's a big boy that he's going up against. So.
No, not at all. I don't think that's the case, and I don't think he came in like with like a grifter's mentality. He came well intentioned. He wanted to do something cool. He just maybe like didn't set things up correctly and wasn't ready for, you know, all the moving parts that you have to deal with. But having said that, like I think until we have actual regulatory clarity from like the government, you're gonna see all these different government agencies, whether it's the SEC or the Fed or whatever, you're still going to see this happen, and I won't be surprised if we see other projects be called out like this in the future. I don't think Tom BILYEU is the only one out there that maybe didn't structure his situation correctly, right?
To be fair too, there is going to be a lot of that pushback, like Gif is saying right now. Like there are going to be, a lot of folks that feel that way, that he is, because he couldn't defend himself or because he didn't want to defend himself in court or something like that, that everybody else gets screwed. And I think that is the case. But I think the SEC is a tough opponent to be asking him to go up against. Man, this is crazy. As we dive deeper into this, and we did get a tweet from Tom, by the way. I'll link this in the chat there for y'all. Let me make sure I get to any. The interesting part about this is that he's talking about this charge and having settled with the SEC, and then he goes into phase 1 of Project Kaizen, and he talks about his project there. I don't know about that one, but we will operate our go-forward business consistent with our good faith, best understanding of all applicable laws, rules, and regulations. We'll make clear that all of Impact's Theory's digital assets are collectibles within utility within the exciting new landscape of borderless entertainment. And we'll fiercely discourage people from treating our digital assets as anything other than what they are, collectibles with utility. So that's important wording there.
Mm-hmm. And it's wording that was probably misconstrued in his previous copy. And hence he's really hammering home this change, right? That's I think why you see a lot of projects these days be very careful about how they describe their holders or their assets. There's a lot that can be derived from it.
DPs make a bunch of great points, and these don't go unappreciated. Like, I understand that this is not an easy situation that he's in, right? So I'm probably coming off a little bit harsh. I'm just pointing out that there's a difference between Yuga's approach, which is saying, yo, we're going to lawyer up and go take this to court and try and make sure that we're setting good precedents, versus, yo, I can't fuck with this. And so what happens in those situations is you get not great precedents for the whole space being set. And yeah, it sucks. Like, Tom's the example now. We've been talking for years through this space, warning everybody not to use investor language around your projects, not to say that these are, guaranteeing you any sort of value or return, or to be super careful to qualify or define any NFT projects as collectibles, etc. And this is exactly why. Like, if you've rolled your eyes or been bored in the past when you've been in clubhouse rooms and spaces or on videos where people are talking about, hey, this is why this is a collectible, this is why you don't do this, XYZ. Well, this is exactly why people like us have been saying this, because he obviously crossed that line into the way that he was marketing and promoting this as some kind of investment versus a pure, collectible with utility, which now he's having to go back and rewrite this. And again, the reason why he's in such a tough spot, I think too, is because he didn't separate it out from his Web2 business, because that just means that, dude, they can go after probably a lot more.
Well, it seems like they have settled. Like, usually they're not going to go on after this initial charge where he's paying $6 million. It doesn't feel like there's going to be something that follows that up. That's I think what is going to happen here. Man, that's a tough one. That's a crazy story with a lot of implications for the rest of the industry that we had no idea about. I just showed a tweet there that was talking about someone watching him at VCon and him talking about the future of the project, and that was only 2 months ago.
Yikes. It'd be interesting to rewatch that to see how he was talking about it even 2 months ago, like how much he knew. Anyway, but I feel like we've hit this story. Yep. Unless there's any other hot takes, like, we should probably keep it moving. I'm sure we're going to keep following this along as it goes out. I do think it's kind of interesting that he's promoting another project off the back of this. It's an interesting move. All right. Fair game, I suppose.
All right, I'm trying to find exactly the right link here, because some of this is happening overseas. So basically, what we had happen was Star-Lordy and a lot of the Oniforce team were in Japan this week. They were working with several artists. I can probably pull up different pictures of that trip. But what came out of this was multiple different mentions of merch. So I'm going to pull this up again. It is primarily in Japanese, but you can see here, this is the first set, I think, of Oniforce merch that is being released. So you can see the Oni logo, as well as there's pieces on the back. I believe this is with different Oni collectors or people that are influential in that ecosystem. I know Ion Complex is on here as well. I'm going to try to find the right links for y'all. I wish I had gotten that prior, but along with that, you can see this. Yep.
Nice.
I'll pull up that. But along with that, Ion Complex actually dropped this. He is saying Inari up and Zen is being restocked. Pre-orders for these two are up in the web store. So we're getting multiple, I think, different Oniforce, or at least, I mean, this is Ion Complex. So it's
this is not. Yeah, this is predated Oniforce for a long time. He's been doing these collectibles and characters for a long time.
So the God Complex pieces here are going to be going on sale. It looks like. I mean, these look sick. These look very obviously Oniforce like. Obviously having Ion Complex there, but I'm definitely collecting this merch. Like it's made in Japan, and I believe they're doing shipping to the US. I'll try to find those links for you so that you guys
big difference from the Pudgy's merch for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely doesn't feel like Gap and Old Navy had a kid in the trap. Had a trap baby. No, Ion Complex. Brian Lee is the artist behind Oniforce, who has an iconic style, and that style has been doing that for 10 to 15 years, and that's why they look familiar. It's because his art is freaking dope, and it's that like very futuristic, anime-ish. I don't know, edgy,
cyberpunkish. Yeah,
cyberpunk. It's super dope, dude. And his physical design and merch design is awesome too. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, how high quality. Hopefully, those are really good quality shirts. The designs look dope. You know, definitely looks like, you know, as far as graphic tees go, those are fucking really, really cool looking. So I'm excited.
All right, I think I have the right link up here for y'all. So you could see different coloring on some of these, and you can also see the creators here. So Dice K, Ion Complex, Nico, Wobaku, all on these different unique Oniforce pieces here. 0.07 ETH. I need to check the price on these as well, but I believe again they are shipping from Japan to the US. So I'm at least gonna get one of these. I know they're running a giveaway there on the Oniforce profile for y'all as well.
It's like what, $80-$90 right now, probably. That ain't cheap.
No, it isn't.
That is not cheap.
I think it's from a legit studio though. Like I need to do a better job on this story of having all the photos ready. But there you can see they went to the artist studio. They checked it all out. They had it in a really awesome display.
That's how you do it, and you tell the story too, right? That's awesome.
Yeah, it's probably pretty good quality.
Oniforce is one of the few projects I've seen as well that have legitimately like half and half rooms where they're speaking Japanese and they're speaking English. Like they're promoting rooms with, you know, different cultures and different geographical locations.
I'd be hanging out in the Japanese room, drinking whiskey highballs and smoking cigarettes.
Look, Star-Lordy and the team has been investing very, very heavily in establishing a base in Japan for Oniforce. Like Oniforce is the original anime PFP, and they are trying to be the anime PFP. And they know that a big part of that is they need to be, they need to be adopted or welcomed by Japan. So I don't know. They're investing heavily there. It seems like, you know, maybe they're getting some traction, and it's exciting, right? I'm very bullish on that strategy of making sure that, you know, they're not just known within the US Web3 DGen circle, but they're global, truly a global anime brand. So
got to go to the source 100%. Conquer
right,
Akihabara.
It's true. Says NFTs sound like a game. The hardest game you ever played, my man. The hardest game you ever played.
Yeah, mostly losing.
All right, I'm going to fly through some quick links I have up here. Guys, if you have any topics, or you guys in the chat as well, if you have any topics you would like us to cover, tell us about it. We'll bring it up. Love talking Web3, love talking NFTs, so please do so. This is a really bullish chart to me. This is from Hill Dobby, who I love to follow for different Dune Analytics dashboards. He said, July and August saw a stable 10K daily active NFT traders on Ethereum. Worth noting that there's 50K a week since most don't trade daily. You can see on this chart, it goes back to May 28th that we have the daily traders on Ethereum for NFTs. It fell off a cliff in early July and has since stabilized. So the reason why I bring this up to you guys is, and why to me it's so bullish, is that we can, this seems to me the bottom on users for NFTs when it comes to what we can accurately look at. For the last 2 months, we've essentially had 10,000 daily active users, or a month and a half, sorry, daily active users. And I think that's where the bottom is going to lie. So you could take that to what it will. It's not going to, change the fact that maybe floor prices are going to continue to go down, but at least we found a bottom, I think, on daily active users for NFTs on Ethereum.
Those are the diehards, right? Yeah, I agree. I still feel it can definitely go lower, but given the time frame, this is a good baseline to measure things going forward. I think definitely a breakout level.
All right, I do have some friend tech pieces as well that I want to get to. Gift, did you have any takes there on daily active?
I just think this number of 10,000 is interesting. How does the space, NFT space, just revolve around this 10K number? Anybody who's out there who's really into numerology, give us some interesting explanation of why 10K is the number. Anyway.
All right. I had a couple other tweets I wanted to hit right off the bat here. Hunter Solaire is saying, so many projects are still building in the bear, but go under the radar. We tend to forget that the top 5 NFTs get 90% of the attention. And he used a few examples: Creeps, Fluff World, The Plague, Wolf Game, Kaiju Kings, and Sappy Seals. So which teams deserve a bigger spotlight? We're not going to spend too much time on that here, but we do see a shout out for maybe the undervalued projects in the space.
Which is most of them. But there's some good examples.
Whale.swoosh had a very interesting tweet. I know it's tough to see when you look at this, but you can see this is CoinMarketCap overlaid with some NFT projects. And I just want to get this for y'all, some data. CryptoPunks would be the 45th biggest project by market cap in the space. Bored Ape Yacht Club would be 77th. Azuki would be 258th, and Pudgy Penguins at 311. So maybe a little bit of alpha there with why Pudgy Penguins has done so well. Again, the market cap being 313. You're basically taking the price of the NFT asset and multiplying it by the floor. I don't know if they're taking in the little Pudgies there. I don't know if they're taking in a full ecosystem, or I'm almost positive that's probably just the single asset. So
yeah, because I would think if you took all of Yuga's, all of the Bored Ape assets and put them together, it's probably bigger than most cryptocurrencies.
So he also had another addition to this saying, what would an NFT project's floor be if it reached a top 30 in crypto market cap? And you can see it here. Bored Ape at 180,000, CryptoPunks at 100. That's not that much, to be honest. Didn't we already see these prices?
Yes,
I already saw these
prices. Way beyond. During the hype, it went way beyond.
Pudgy Penguins would be at 202,000 per Pudgy there. That would be nice to see for Pudgy holders. And then I did have a conversation around wins of YAWANAWA that went live. That mint was awesome. But the broader conversation being big art continues to sell. We see more rare PFP sales as well, by the way. It's not just floors, it's more rare. So it seems to be interest in these art-based or different than floor, just treating these as base assets selling going on. So here we go. We have I Found You at 31 ETH, Dreams of the Lol. So basically a skull of Lucci selling for 90. tennis from 3 ETH, and a solver from 10 ETH. So big sales being highlighted here from NFT Stats. Do y'all have any thoughts here on the NFT art sector? I know we've been really, having a positive feel around that for a while.
I love to see it. I love to see it, man. You need to understand that I think within our crypto Web3 portfolios, right, there's this little ecosystem called NFTs, right? And we all are very passionate here about it, and it's beautiful to see. But you also, when you do invest or collect these assets, like it is a leveraged bet, right, on the whole ecosystem, the platform, in this case Ethereum, and on the cultural relevance, right, of these like assets at the moment. And right now there's great prices to be had, and there's amazing artists doing very innovative and unique things that you could only do in crypto. And so I think it's only right that there's people out there that are paying attention and are collecting these beautiful pieces. It's a safe space to be amongst all kinds of other things. Yeah, I love YAWANAWA. I was lucky enough to mint early for this one. It started minting like a month ago. Q. It's actually stopped right now at 650 pieces, and you're gonna get to see the remainders be minted. I think they're mostly spoken for to different collectors, but it's an incredible project. If you know Rafik Anadol, he's like a tremendous generative AI artist. I got to see one of his live pieces at the Thyssen in Spain earlier this spring. And it's like a room with a soundscape system in it, and it's just glorious to like bask in it, and he's got like a permanent collection at the MoMA, which is incredible. And just seeing his process, right, and like what he, like the data sets that he draws upon and how he like puts it all together into these like crazy motion pictures is really inspiring. And so this is the first like motion NFT that he's doing for crypto, and it's in collaboration with the YAWANAWA tribe of Brazil. Like apparently him and the chief there are like super close. I don't know if he went like on an ayahuasca retreat or anything, but he's got a lot of love for that region of the world. And it's basically a collaboration between his approach and his artwork and basically the jungle and this area where the YAWANAWA tribe live, and they basically have been harvesting all this data for quite some time. And reveal is within a month, and I think it's going to be really spectacular.
So Biggie, you mentioned GIF. I want you to hop in here, but you mentioned collecting one of these. There's only again 650 total. Price on these ran up to 9 ETH. What would you mint this at?
So they minted at 2,500. They're USDC, by the way. They minted at USDC, and yeah, it was early on. And basically, they created this like laddered approach to the minting in different dates, and they made available. I think initially it was like 500, and then they extended it to 650. The last 50 was open to the public, and unfortunately, there were a lot of bots that just went at it. It was insane. Like within a second, like you never even got to see the button. Everybody just minted from contract. It was crazy to watch. But there's obviously a lot of very strong sentiment behind this artist, and like the community is very bullish on him, and rightfully so. Like I think this is definitely going to be one for the books, I think.
Last question, make it lightning. So if you weren't in that public mint, how are you getting these wins here prior?
What do you mean?
Prior to the mint, like you didn't get one in public, did you?
No. I was able to get in on the mint early, but anybody could, like it's just one of those situations. I feel like a lot of people were sleeping on it, but if you were within like certain collector communities, you could see a lot of very serious people excited about it, right? And people that I deeply respect, and it also requires, I think, a little bit of deeper digging into who the artist is, what his approach is like, what his already current market size of collectors and talent is, what he's looking to approach. So it required a little more investment on like the collector's part to read up on the project, read up on his approach, see who's collecting, be in the right circles where you just start picking up and you're like, man, like all these different places start referencing this artwork. I'm going to go check it out. And I also think initially you would see a lot of people balk at the price, right? 2,500 is not an easy mint, but again, it's just I'm familiar with him also because of Proof. He's a Grails 2 artist, and he minted a fabulous piece there, and I was already like impressed and drawn to his work. I think his Grails piece is amazing, and so
the work is fantastic here. I mean, they're beautiful. The way that they're situated on these large like digital canvases essentially, and it's been able to show out. I love it. Look, I don't want to fixate on the price here, but Biggie, you hit an 8x here. You didn't think about selling at all?
No, not at all.
Even in the bear.
No, I mean, honestly, I say it here, and you guys hear me like it's boring. It sounds boring. I'm sorry, but I'm not here to fucking play checkers. I'm here for 10 years. That shit, it's not up to me. It may not even be up to me to sell. Like that's not my thought process. So capital I bring into this space is capital I commit for a very long time. I have my small DJ bags.
I push back here on you, Biggie, because you have a skill that you should be leveraging, and in something like this, you should buy too. Like dude, you're good at this, right? Like, why not profit off of that? You did buy you bought a couple?
Yeah, a couple. I don't like I don't like to like.
Well,
but you know me. I like to keep shit under the vest. But yeah, I appreciate that, Q. And honestly, like it's all that has also been a learning process for me. It's like learning when to go into size and when to be a little more reserved. That it's not easy, and you don't always get it right. But this one in particular, I feel like it was one of those where, like Buffett says, the pitch presents itself, and you swing, you fucking swing, and you try to be as big as you can. I honestly, and I still can tell you, I regret not buying more. Of course, I do.
Clearly,
right? Greedy fucking degen.
Clearly. Okay, Giff, we've gone too long without hearing your take. I will say, wow, like that's an incredible flip here. But yeah, again, you didn't flip, but it's an incredible catch by you. But
it's not even revealed yet, Q.
Yeah,
like it's one of ones, 1,000 one of ones.
Gift, take here.
And you know what happens post reveal a lot of times, Biggie. So take that for what it's worth. But you obviously know what you're doing, and congrats, bro. That's big. And I think there's a couple things that are coming to my what I say. Congrats.
No, not you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Pocket watching
like a slime ball. What the fuck does that take?
Yeah. Anyway, DP has some good ones too. Lest you forget, they're not all home runs, but DP's got plenty of good takes. There's a couple things that come up. I love this, like just the art conversation, and we're trying to keep these shows to an hour. We're already past that, so I don't want to go super deep there. There's something right now in this bear market about discovering the artists that have been paying dues, that have a track record, and continue to build with a clear sort of vision and create awesome experiences. We just saw what happened with Sam Spratt and Monument Game. People like Jimena, like Rafiq has been in the space doing cool shit for a while. Mo Runda is the first one that brought Rafiq to my attention. So like, to me, like Biggie Poppins kind of laid out his thesis and how he like had all these kind of pieces. Like I intuitively kind of also know that this guy Rafiq is really legit and is kind of primed to maybe take those next big steps. You know what I mean? As an artist, like he's got this awesome track record. He's got this history. And so there's a really awesome opportunity for the people like Biggie Poppins, the people who are thoughtful able to kind of piece together and follow these artists and look at their portfolios and understand their trajectories to kind of get in on some of these sort of like mid to top tier artists that are starting to kind of separate or make that next leap and catch those 10Xs like that. So I think that that's one of the most exciting places in the space right now. Like it used to be PFPs could get you that quick 10X. Now it's a fucking established artist, you know, like a Rafiq Anadol that's going to get you that quick 10X. So I like that the meta right now is very art focused. I like that there's a lot of opportunity for artists still. It's not like, hey, any random artist can just show up and do what Rafiq Anadol is doing. No, but the artists that have been working, that do put in the time, the effort to build their community, their name, their portfolio, etc., that show that trajectory of growth, they can have these incredible moments where they kind of pop off. You know, obviously Jack Butcher was another example of that this year, of an artist that just fucking took over because he was kind of primed and positioned, and then he had some great ideas that just fucking sent him into the stratosphere. And I think that we're going to see a lot more artists separate and become big household names over the next year or two. The bigger like art conversation that's like confusing to me is trying to really understand, like, is a lot of this still just speculation, or is this Ethereum fine art NFT store of value thesis like really as strong as we hope it is? Because I don't know, man. Like there's moments obviously where we get lost in the sauce and like we drink our own Kool-Aid, and you know we're up here just, you know, thinking that this is the new wave, and then I have moments where I'm like less sure, you know, like do these, you know, does somebody buying a 420 Ethereum one of one from Sam Spratt actually hold or accrue value over time? We don't know yet.
Well, the reason why I think you see art winning a lot right now, it's like, honestly, I don't know. For me, it's a very easy bet, right? Because art has a trajectory, right? Art has been around for a very long time. You can even consider art that the people made might have not considered art be art, right? And I'm talking about things like the caves at Lascaux, right? Like the caveman paintings where they, you know, show the animals and stuff like that. Like it's got a trajectory. It's got a set of collectors. It's got a history of education behind it, right? And taste. And the golden rule is like, you buy what you love, what you like, right? And I think it's an easy bet to make in crypto right now, because crypto is a canvas, and it's got a very unique properties to it that cannot be replicated before or after. So you're going through this transition moment in time, and then add AI to it. It's a whole fucking different conversation, right? But it's an easy bet that if you like the art and you like the people that are coming into the space and coming up with these innovative things, like Sam Spratt with the Monument game, like Rafiq with his data, right? Like Vera Molinar, like who's an old school but jumping into NFTs, like you can make these bets and feel confident that these people will have a following and a collector base for years to come, maybe, right? But if you think about the people that collected Basquiat's or you know, Duchamps or Picasso's back in the day, there was a moment in time in that transition where some people might have said like, oh, it's not that special, or oh, it's a bit of junk, it's not for me. But there were people that were very in tune with that transition and what was going on at the time, and really appreciated that art and decided to collect it and got rewarded for it maybe later on if they held on to it, right? And this is just, you know, I think singular to art. But if you put it in the PFP space, right, where we're talking about utility or gaming and all these other aspects, again, very unique properties that these assets can which can use to accrue value, right, and deliver value to its holders. And so I think art is just like, to me, it's kind of like buying Bitcoin, you know, like the generative artists, the big artists, the proof artists. Sorry to show my people there, but it's like, it's easy. It's like buying Bitcoin. You're not gonna lose everything. These people are really highly vetted. they've been telling their stories sometimes before NFTs. And so if you like the art, there's no shame in buying it and putting it up, right? The other stuff, it's a little more speculative, but I'm as bullish on that as I am on art.
I love these conversations because I don't see myself first as an art collector, right? Like I'm not that big of an art collector, and you guys definitely have an eye for those assets and just those things. And the ability to talk this out with y'all live is really cool for me. Like I get to learn and see how people, look at art and talk about it. So definitely.
But you do have an IQ, right? Like I didn't know about that country singer until you posted him on Twitter, and that was fantastic.
Music.
Thank you. I've been playing it this whole weekend with my family. Dude,
Yeah.
that's like one of the best art forms in the world, and its time will come, right? And the people that have that ability to be music scouts, right, will have their time to fucking profit and to show, right? Like I get you, Q, because sometimes you look at these like bastions of fucking art and culture, these crazy museums, and that's why sometimes you see a lot of people almost like bow down to Europeans as if like they're the fucking cradle of it all. But go to Asia, go to other places. It's just different approaches to expressing yourself and like different genres. That's the way I think about it. But I think you are a collector and you do have your fucking particular taste, and I like it for one. So don't shortchange yourself on that.
My man, dude, Biggie's making me blush over here, dude. I appreciate that take. Thank you for that. The reason I bring that up is not to kind of like self-aggrandize myself up here, but it more so like I'm usually on the outside when it comes to this art scene and what's all happening. But it interests me because I feel like I have the viewpoint of everybody's talking about liquidity, yet there's liquidity in the art scene right now. Like clearly there's enough liquidity for people to buy JPEGs if they're putting it into, art. The money's there is what I'm trying to say. It feels also to me like the people are betting on this new medium of art. And these people that are first are going to do extremely well over time. Again, that's just what I'm viewing from what I feel like is the outside, is that people are making calculated bets that these are the first artists to move into that digital landscape in this way.
I think like even having this conversation helps me kind of solidify back around to, my initial theses, which again was outlined very well by Punk6529 in his recent Empire podcast around like, why did he buy the goose for $6 million or whatever the heck it was, right? Obviously this is a calculated bet and it's a big bet. And so like the person who bought the 1-of-1 monument game for 420.69 ETH. I mean, they are betting, like Biggie said, that, and Q, like you just said, that these are the early pioneers in the digital art renaissance, and 10, 15, 20 years down the line, this is going to look really good. This is not, it's going to age really well. And so, yeah, sometimes it's hard to zoom out and focus on that. And obviously there's still concerns around like things that can go wrong between now and then. But I still feel like because most of these assets that are going for this amount are on chain, that they're probably good bets. Like it's probably a solid bet.
No. And if and there's some like real, like within your reach type of things, right? Like Heart and Craft. Honestly, I'm so bullish on that project. And so many people right now may be not dismissing it. I know a lot of people are appreciating and doing all kinds of stuff, but they're not seeing the bigger picture, in my opinion. Folks, you have like a day zero collection with the size of 10K, 10,000. There's only ever going to be 10,000 day zero hearts right now. Go to OpenSea and check out their prices. Some of them are below mint price. Like, get one, get two, buy one for your grandma, whatever. If you enjoy it, of course, not financial advice ever, motherfuckers. But it's a fucking pretty safe bet. Look who's involved. Look who's collecting. It's like, and they're fucking cool, I think.
Well, the other thing real quick, just to kind of cap off this really deep, long-winded, but interesting and valuable conversation about art collecting. What I really loved, Q, was, you talking about your own journey as somebody who never thought of yourself as an art collector. And here you are, actually really engaged, collecting art in a lot of different ways, learning about art. I fucking love that. And that gets back to kind of my own raison d'etre for why I'm in the space, and what gets me so fucking excited is that this empowers creators and communities around the world to interact in different ways, but specifically with creativity, with art. Everybody can be a collector now. Artists are collectors now. You know what I mean? Do you like think about the fact that most artists and creative type people throughout history have had not a lot of resources while they're alive to actually go like collect. And now the artists that fucking love art can also be collecting art, you know, and be participating in new awesome ways, supporting artists in new awesome
anywhere
ways.
in the world. From
And it's
anywhere in
global,
the world, right?
exactly. This is a global
Like
phenomenon.
imagine if you wanted to collect like a Renoir back in the day, like you better have lived in fucking Paris, France at a very particular fucking point in time.
Yeah.
You know,
The access.
and
the
now
internet.
somebody in China and Africa and Australia can be minting and find out about you and uplift you and help you bring you into the screen. It's amazing. It's super cool.
And to that point, that's what's kind of really exciting about this. I don't want to call it like a Where's Waldo, but this sort of like discovery search phase of like, who are the upcoming artists to watch, to follow, the Rafiks, the Sam Sprats, Jimena. Again, I keep throwing Jimena in there. I think Jimena is going to be big in the next couple of years. Like, who are these people? And now you have this discovery, you know, what do you want to call it? Like, I can't think of the right term, but it's this global search to discover different artists that you can access and support. And I think that the fact that you can participate in those journeys and connect in cool ways like that, in ways that never before have been offered to anybody, is still very cool to me. So that's, I guess, why I'm still fucking here.
Let's go, man. I think you laid it out pretty well there at the end of the episode here. We're doing a deep dive on maybe our own theses, but also kind of our feelings on the sector itself. I mean, think about the medium of being able to see art, not just on a screen too. Like, that's going to, I think, take what we're doing here to the next level when a majority of people are able to view this stuff digitally in a really cool environment. Like right now, you know, that people are using Rafik as an example of like, hey, I want to go to this location and view this huge canvas and like get to see this generative like art form at work, or I might be using the terminology wrong, but imagine being able to put on a headset and seeing that same kind of experience, right? Like your ability to be almost there and view this digital piece is really cool, and it doesn't exist at scale yet. So
yeah. And shout out to all the homies in the chat. Y'all been holding it down with us. Appreciate y'all. DP on a mission to insult everybody up here today. I don't think you've hit Biggie yet. Folks. I don't think you've hit Biggie yet, DP. So like, please, you know, if you got any like insults to throw Biggie's way, please make sure to get those out before we wrap here in just a moment. Just to cover us all, you know. Listen, I'm
as toxic as they come. I game every night, and I'm talking shit to everybody and their mother. So I seriously, like, that's. But there's a little bit of a line. We like to joke with each other. I don't know, slime ball for me, kind of a line. I will get to this last piece here. We have to run like.
Can we start a poll? Can we start a poll?
Is slime ball too?
His cue.
Oh, dude.
I'm not starting this. We're not covering mutants today. I wish we could get to that topic, but we spent a lot of it talking about the breaking news with Tom BILYEU. So we'll cover this yesterday, but it looks like the mutants had a successful party out there in Miami. This is just one screenshot. Obviously, ASAP Ferg was being brought out. Thread Guy was out there introducing a bunch of people on stage. It was a wild time. It looks like. I wish I could have gotten out there. And then we did have this announcement from Jessica Yatrosky on the GM Web3 Spaces, basically saying that she had no idea what was happening tomorrow. But apparently, we're getting a little bit of info. Tomorrow, 8/29, we're basking in on-chain summer with 4 unique drops on Build on Base with artist Jessica Yatrosky. And we do see Leave No Trace is an evocative poem that delicately balances the ephemeral nature of existence. It urges readers to reflect on the significance of their presence. So this is being dropped on Base via OpenSea. in 19 hours. So I wanted to give that shout out. I'll drop that link there in chat, and I'm also going to be sharing that, of course, on X. And that's it, man. That's the episode today.
All right,
dude. Can we share the fellowship link I sent to you? It's the last link. It's right there above the whole thing.
Gotcha.
Since we were talking about art, I'd love to send you guys off with this one, which I'm pretty excited about. It's pretty cool. It's based. I mean, the way I'm coming at it is like a way of kind of tracking the up and coming and the meaningful AI creators in the space. And basically, they're going to be featuring a different artist. I don't know if it's every week or every month.
Daily.
Like in AI, it's going to be really cool. Daily.
It's a curated daily.
Scary, yeah. And I think they're going to be like auctioning off the art too, which is really, really cool to see. I love this because you really get to discover talent and maybe get a few kicks in while you're at it too.
All right, I dropped that link there in chat. Biggie, I want to check this out. Maybe we can dive further on Wednesday of this week because we do have Biggie Poppins in on Wednesday for you guys. If you want to come back and you want to see apparently someone that's cool. That's cooler than me and Gift. Way cooler than me and Gift. All right, we're going to hop off here in just a moment. I'll give you all the last takes and then I'll take us out.
Man, it's all love, fam. Glad to have the trio back in town, and I'll see you soon. OVOT.
Heck yeah. I love how much we got to talk about art today. I'll throw this up real quick.
Gaming.
I'm probably going to get one of these. They're now down almost to 0.04 Rec League Majestics. So they are wrecked from their initial mint price. So sorry to anybody that bought at that initial mint price, but hey, good for me, for those who wait, because I'm still excited about this. So there's that. And then our Vibe, our tribe.
All right. To be fair, folks, some people that got, because it was based on rarity, some people are able to sell over mint price. So, it's not all wrecked for Rec League, but yeah, we'll be getting into that in September. Shout out to Asmodai, who we randomly got patched together or matched together there on Parallel in a match, and
that's cool.
That was pretty fun to hear. And then we talked a little bit about Parallel. Myself.
You won? Hey.
Dude, it's RNG. It's RNG, folks. It was not ranked. He was trying out a new deck. Asmodai, you're one of my favorites, man. Anyways, much love, everybody. Our Vibe, our tribe. We'll be back tomorrow. GMWM3 Morning Spaces. Going to be on X. And then we hop into NFT Live. Y'all are awesome, especially you, DP. OVOT.